everyone. I hope you're doing well today. If you don't know, my name is Kayla, and I am the BroadcastHER Community and Project Manager. I'm super excited to be here today to talk a little bit about BroadcastHER and introduce you to our 2021 BroadcastHER Live hosts, Bread Witchery and Call Me Asia. First off, I'd like to say we had so many applications for the host opening this year. We were flabbergasted, for lack of a better term, by the passion and support from all of you. It was a super hard decision. However, we're super happy to be able to have more than one host this year compared to previous years. So, obviously today we'll be talking a bit about the BroadcastHER grant, fundraising, and both about Harley and Asia, both of our hosts. So, obviously we have an exciting show ahead of us, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I am going to go ahead and call in our first host, Bread Witchery. But first, here are some words from one of our Dream Team members, Camila Panda. Be right back.
Hey, my name is Nikki, and I go by Camilla Panda on Twitch. I'm a variety caster that focuses on RPG and sci-fi games while supporting nonprofits and empowering others to do good things. What started out as a way to do something positive while sitting at home waiting for the world to open up has grown to be so much more. It has been a way to connect to friends from around the world and to meet other like-minded individuals. I applied for a BroadcastHER grant after losing my job of almost 2.5 years at a nonprofit marketing agency in October of 2020. I was determined afterwards to build my broadcasting from a hobby to something I do professionally between streaming and my previous experiences as a host and a play-by-play announcer for competitive robotics. However, to be successful, I knew I needed new equipment that will help create a professional production from start to finish. To my surprise, I was selected. I was in disbelief and incredibly excited, not only for the grant, but the opportunities that come with it. I'm incredibly honored to have received a BroadcastHER grant in the fall of 2020. My dream is to create a space where everyone can be themselves and be empowered to make a positive change by doing what they enjoy. I hope to use the tools I am getting from this grant to not only break barriers in broadcasting, but to inspire and uplift others to follow their dreams. I choose to pay it forward so other women in similar situations that I am in can have the opportunity to pursue their dreams. I think it is important to have initiatives like BroadcastHER and the Academy so gaming and broadcasting can become a more equitable place where everyone is welcome and you can be yourself.
Hi Camila, I see you in chat. That was you. That was you on the screen. That was you. I'm gonna go ahead and call in Harley now. So give me 1 second. Hope you're all doing well today. And thank you again to the mods who are able to be here today. I know, obviously, I typically take care of most of the moderation, but I hopped on as a host kind of last second. So, thank you again. Let's see. Hi, can you see me okay? Or hear me, actually, hear me.
Fine, I can't see you, but I can hear you fine, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to switch over to the overlay now. Just want to make sure we had everything set.
Okay, cool.
Let's make sure they can see you.
Little old me? Oh my goodness, no. Stop. I'm so embarrassed.
Boom, there you are. That's you right there on my screen. Oh my gosh.
Hi, it's me.
I love your shirt. I feel like
Thank you.
Every time I'm hopping into one of your streams, I tell you that you give Powerpuff Girls vibes. It's true. It
I
really
love that.
is.
As long as I'm Blossom. I always want to be Blossom ever since I was like a kid. I guess I was just like a little bossy kid, and I was like, I have to be the main one. I have to be the most important one.
I feel like everybody goes through that. I totally understand. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm still going through it. Is that okay? Is that all right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it main character syndrome or is it I'm a narcissist? We'll never know. It's up in the air. Who's to say?
You know, I think they're doing a remake of Powerpuff Girls, or it's been rumored for a while, so I think it's acceptable at this point.
Yeah, it is though. It's like, oh, it's like hard and gritty Powerpuff Girls, and I'm like, I literally don't know who asked for that. I have no clue. I'm so curious as to whose idea this was. I'd love to know. I'd love to be a fly on the wall,
Yes.
with a shotgun and able to just threaten them to stop. But anyway, that's
Absolutely.
enough about me and my creative process.
Well, I will kind of kick things off by first saying thank you, obviously, for taking the time to talk with us and letting us introduce
Yeah,
you. How are you doing today, kind of to start?
I'm good. I slept a decent amount. I'm like 2 days after the vaccine, so I'm still waiting for side effects to kick in, but they haven't yet. So I'm just vibing. I woke up at a good time, worked on a cosplay that I'm doing, put my makeup on, and now I'm here. And I also ate food at some point, I
Good,
think. What
good.
do human people do? I dyed my hair and I had a shower. And then I kissed my wife, and then I went to the store. No,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've had a good day. How about you? How's your day?
That's good. That's good. I have done my makeup for the first time in quite some time, so everybody, I'm a little rusty. Don't judge me. It's fine.
Good.
And
It's good.
I
Just
got
double
my
check how pretty you look.
oh
Hold up.
oh
Let me
uh,
open up
uh,
the stream.
don't look
Hang
at the
on.
camera.
Let's have a look. 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Immaculate.
Thank
Stunning.
Uh, well, I to kind of start off, can you tell us a bit more about you and what you currently do in streaming and gaming for those who don't know?
Yeah, sure. So basically at the minute on my own stream, I stream story-based stuff, narrative-driven things, things with like dialogue and that sort of thing. I'm currently playing Little Nightmares 2. I'm going to play some later tonight. And then in terms of like projects and that kind of thing, I co-founded Stories Told, which is a TTRPG channel. So like Dungeons and Dragons is a TTRPG, but there's lots of different TTRPGs out there where it's like role-playing games that have card-based systems or dice-based systems. And Stories Told is basically about every month we run a different TTRPG system, and we have a new cast of streamers with us. Right now we have Christology, Terry Gamble, Nova Lisi, myself, and Louise Hannah playing in like a murder mystery thing, which is really, really fun. And I do that. And then I also am the community manager for Nani Talent, and I help out with that sort of thing. So that's what I do at the minute.
So you're
That's me.
busy. You stay busy.
I'm busy. I stay busy. I stay very booked and busy.
Hey, it has to be that way, especially right now. You know, it gets lonely if you don't
Mm.
keep yourself busy. So I totally get
It's
that.
like a shock. If I stop moving, I'm just gonna end up thinking about quarantine and then I'll die. So
Exactly. Or you're like, wait a second, I should be doing something, right? Right? That's how this works. But so I guess what inspired you to get involved with broadcasting? What was kind of that first step, or what was that aha moment? I should
um,
try my hand at this.
the way I became familiar with it was I'd always really loved YouTube stuff and like YouTubers and that kind of thing. But whenever I tried to record a YouTube video or get into it, when it came to like the editing stage, like perfectionism would kick in, and it was just too much of like a I don't know how to explain it, like a process kind of thing, and like like having to like look at myself and that sort of thing, and having to actually go over the content again and again and again when editing, and then I would like psych myself out. But broadcasting, you don't do that because it's all live. You just turn on the camera and you just go, and I loved that. But the main reason I found out about Twitch was I used to play competitive Overwatch, not that high rank, don't worry, with like a group of guys, and one of them Twitch streamed, and that's how I found out about Twitch streaming. And I was like, oh, I could try that. That seems fun, and that's how I found out about Twitch. So yeah,
Oh, who did you play in Overwatch typically?
I would play Diva or Symmetra before she got changed, or Messi.
I miss old Symmetra.
I miss it. It was so fun. Like when it would like lock on and it would like charge up more and more and more, and I was like, it's just so satisfying. It was just so satisfying, just like locking onto them.
And then
But
the teleporter you could put like in the spawn all the way and like into the other team's
yeah,
scopes.
I miss her. She was fun. I
I
miss
know.
her.
I miss it. Um, that kind of leads me into the next question. I know we're talking a bit about Overwatch, but what is probably your favorite game and why. I think this honestly tells somebody a lot about what sort of content they can expect on your channel.
That's true.
So what do you think?
So my usual answer to this is Dragon Age Origins, which is by BioWare, which is like an RPG, and it's really, really good, and I love it. It's part of a series I'm in love with. But recently, I've been remembering that if I think about it, my like comfort game and a game I've always loved would be Monkey Island, and that's a point and click like LucasArts adventure, and you play as this goofy wannabe pirate guy who's like a total loser and just like completely messes up all the time, and he's a soft boy and I love him, and it just had like such good humor, and I played it when I was a kid, and it cracked me up, and it was the first time as a kid when I was playing a game where I was like enjoying the comedy of a game and like picking the dialogue options, like having fun and solving puzzles by myself, and I was just very involved with it, and I still love it, and I still think it's really funny. So I loved that game series.
I've always wanted to get into it, so one time I'm gonna have to message
Please,
you.
it's really good. Monkey Island 3 and Monkey Island 4 are my favorites, and you can like just play those and you'll get it. You don't need to play the other ones.
Okay, good to know. I'll note that down. I'll make sure to download those right after this.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not hosting anything. That was in the contract, right? Like, you play the games I like, and I show up. Like,
absolutely, duh, of course. So you kind of already talked about this, but do you typically play RPG games or story-driven games on your channel? And how would you describe your stream to a new viewer?
Ooh, let me think. So yeah, I do play a lot of story-driven games, especially even if they're like niche stuff. Even if it's like, hey everybody, I found this RPG from 2003, and we're playing it now because there's story and romance options, which is how I ended up roping everyone into watching the Desperate Housewives PC game with me, which is fun. It was a good time. I slept with the mailman a lot. Anyway, that, and then also just like very, very big love of mayhem. We always pick the most like chaotic, just like stir in the pot kind of choices and things. But at the same time, we're very friendly and warm, very leftist vibes, very sassy vibes, very much like a TikTok comment section kind of vibes. So that is how I would probably describe my community. And then me is just this base. It's just the same. It's exactly as awkward. My hair isn't usually this voluminous, but other than that, it's the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's always a lot of fun whenever you hop into one of Harley's streams. I know I try to hop in when I can, and typically, it'll turn your day around. You're gonna be leaving with a smile no matter what. So
I remember when I was fundraising for 1,000 Dreams Fund, and it was like one of my first times doing a charity stream, and I was on the front page, and I know now that it was you were in the chat, like being the 1,000 Dreams Fund account, and I was just like messing up and being a complete idiot the whole time in game, and just like joking and swearing and being really stupid, and all the time in chat someone would be like, it'd be funny if the charity was here right now, and I was like, nah, they're not. And then at one point you were like, hey Holly, I liked that thing that you did an hour ago. I've been here since that. And I was like, what?
It's a lot of it can be a lot of pressure, when you see that name. But but at the same time, you can be proud that you are always yourself no matter what. So
okay, all right. Disney Channel.
Yeah, I'll stop complimenting. It's fine.
Thank you. Jeez, I'm too used to it. I get it from everybody. It's exhausting, I tell you, being me and getting complimented all the time.
So that next question, I suppose, do you think you've ever faced any challenges as someone who is, woman aligned on Twitch? And do you think there are things that we could be doing to kind of prevent this from happening that we aren't?
I would say that I was on a panel recently run by Anxiety where myself and some other women on Twitch were discussing this sort of thing, and they were sharing their experiences with the challenges they have faced because of their gender and that sort of thing. And I came away feeling like I had less of that than others, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just like luck, even though saying I'm lucky seems like insufficient and trite. I don't know, but I haven't, in my opinion, experienced too much challenges and stuff in my way as a broadcaster that I would put down to misogyny. There's the occasional, like, there's been like a couple of viewers who have been like kind of creepy, but I'll just like ban them and I don't like them and I'm like, ew. And it's always like that was gross. But then again, I guess I'm used to it from like life, so I don't really put that as like a broadcaster thing. I'm like, that's just a life thing, which is sad. And then there's the general vibe of, if I make a tweet or like if I say something, sometimes people will be very like, well, actually, or like try and condescend to me or quote unquote mansplain to me. And again, I'm like, is that because of my gender? Is that just because people do it on the internet? I don't know. But the main challenge and thing that I like truly see as like a big obstacle is more ahead of me and more of like a dread. And that's more, and I haven't experienced it because of COVID, because before COVID, I wouldn't have the opportunity to do this kind of thing, is industry events and industry opportunities in person with individuals who are presenting it to you with an ulterior, like sexual or romantic motive. I've had lots of stories from friends about that kind of thing. And that's a big fear for me, is having to go through that whole process in my head of like, if I get an opportunity of that some kind, that I have to then assess it in that way and put it in that context. And I feel like I'm doing them a disservice by presuming there might be a predator, but like I have to for my safety. And it's just a whole thing. So I would say that like it's just the sad truth that like so much of the industry is predatory towards me because of my gender, or like pulling a big trick on me because of my gender. And then also I suppose just the fear of like sharks in the water when it comes to other women, because I'd like to hold women to a high standard and that sort of thing, and I like to think that we can be good people, but there are a lot of women out there who are exploitative and who are predatory, and who are like bigots and that kind of thing, and I don't want to support them and uplift them, but I'm scared of like doing so accidentally without knowing. And that's the thing that I'm scared of as a woman who wants to, you know, seek out and uplift good women. I'm scared of that. So it's all like the unknowns. I'm like, all the sharks in the water, they scare me. But yeah.
Definitely. And I think it also comes down to some of these conversations for some reason are like taboo for, you know, within this community. So some folks kind of go in totally not knowing what to expect, or I guess what to, you know, hold somebody up to a higher standard. And so I think, you know, some folks are just scared to either ask or share their stories of when that has happened. So
yeah, I've seen it a lot where if people are like, for example, I'll say like, oh, I don't support like transphobic women, and people, it's like, what happened to like women supporting women? I thought you were a feminist. Don't you want like women to like be uplifted? And I'm like, not necessarily horrible ones, no. So there's that weird pushback that you can experience.
absolutely. And I do think, you know, obviously it's just an open-ended question of, you know, what are your specific experiences, and it just gets even deeper once you're, you know, if you identify as queer, or if you are, you know, another, you know, a marginalized folk in general. There's so many tiers to that, and I wish there wasn't like this taboo-ness around it, and I wish we were able to kind of, you know, pull a seat out for everybody at the table and provide our knowledge to kind of prevent that from happening, like you said. So
yeah, it's one of those things where it is like inextricable from just like society and the way people are socialized and that sort of thing. So it's just, I feel like we can't rip these things out at the root necessarily within the industry, but we can do what we can to create safe spaces and boundaries and identify issues and not be afraid to like shut them down.
Exactly.
And that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So I know that was kind of a heavy question, and I feel like we could probably talk about that for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sort of switch gears and I guess kind of uplift the mood just a little bit. So as you said, and as many of us know, you are the current community manager for Nani Talent, which is a great resource and talent agency for women in gaming and broadcasting and beyond. Can you tell us a little bit more about Nani Talent, or, you know, at least from your point of view, a little bit more about Nani?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, like you said, we're an agency and sort of management agency and talent agency for women and women aligned individuals in the gaming industry. We've worked with like companies like SteelSeries, State Farm, CD Projekt Red, Square Enix. Some of our members are with like Misfit Gaming and Gen G Gaming and that kind of thing. We work with them, and we help our people that we're representing with like digital strategy. We help them with sponsorships. We're just there to like help support them when they like whatever they need. Like that's what we're there for. And we have some amazing creators on there. We have like VTubers on there. We have musicians. We have creatives. We have variety streamers like myself. And yeah, we're just, you know, just like a really cool talent agency that I love, and I really care about it. And I do think that all of the creators on there are fantastic. Like all of them, I would like individually point to and go like, they're great. And I remember when I first applied for the position, I looked at the website and like half of the roster of people that I was friends with or like really admired, and I was like, God, and it was just a dream. So I love Nani, and I'm really passionate about them, and I do think that they're truly really cool.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Agreed. And it like you said, the roster is just jam packed with women or women-aligned folks who are from every facet of gaming as well on top of that.
Yeah, and different regions and that kind of thing. And I'm just like very proud that we're very like international in that way.
Absolutely. And we have a couple BroadcastHER, I guess, alumni, folks who have been actually funded through us. So it's always nice to see them kind of find a group like that they can really help and help empower each other even more.
And some of them have been fundraising for 1,000 Dreams as well. There was Bloody Foster, and Julie is doing it today, I think.
Yes.
And yeah, and there's some other people as well.
A couple more, absolutely.
A couple more, yeah.
So, if you don't mind, can you give us a little bit more information as to what a typical day looks like for you as a community manager there at Nani?
Yeah, so I wake up on silk sheets, and then my agents are fanning me as I wake up, and they're like, "Do you need anything, Mistress Holly?" And I say, "No, go away. You're too kind and thoughtful, and everyone should follow our social medias. You're right." And then I saunter over to the desk. No, basically I have ADHD, so my schedule is like all over the place. So it's not like a 9 to 5 kind of thing for me. It's more of like I will make sure that I'm keeping on top of any events that are coming up, any milestones that our talent are about to hit that I should be like congratulating them on or announcing to everybody else. So I keep an eye on that kind of thing. So that's on a calendar. And then I have like batch stuff set up where, for the week I'll have like just tweets set up for the week that aren't necessarily need to be made on the spot, just like your average jokes, your average memes, that kind of thing. And I'll send off any graphics that need to get made. I'll send those to our creative, who is also called Nani. I don't know if I'm about to be called Nani and it's like a thing where we could become the Borg. I don't know, but her name's Nani and she's really great. And I also will keep an eye on if there's any months or weeks coming up, like Trans Visibility Week or Black History Month and that kind of thing. And if we need to make any content for the creators that like fit that and work on that sort of thing. And then I'll go through every couple of occasionally throughout the day, I'll go on the Twitter, and I have a list on our Twitter, which is basically every member that we are representing at the minute, and it's public, so other people can follow it if they want to, if they go on Nani Talent on Twitter and look on the list. And I'll go through that list. I'll interact with all of our creators and like gas them up and tell them they're doing great and they're fantastic, and I love them because I do, and I get to say so on company time, which is great. And that's about it. So yeah, just keeping up with the Twitter, posting an Instagram post, and checking on anything that needs to be pre-planned or working on any side projects, like making sure that certain group activations are going well, or like organizing a community night or revamping the Discord. I'm going to put a bunch of emojis on the title of the channels on the Discord. Don't tell my boss. It's going to be emojis. It's going to be really pretty.
So I think something that folks don't realize is that community managers often wear a lot of hats. And in that way, that means that you have your hand kind of on everything going on in some way, obviously, as a manager of the community. So yeah, again, that's another thing we could probably talk about a lot, especially me being a community manager as well.
Community managers are pretty cool. They do a lot of work and they're great. And I sure hope everyone's treating community managers well today. Please be nice to us.
I just wanted to, have a little time to appreciate you and what you're doing for Nani. So
thank you. It's sweet of you.
Thank you for sharing that. So obviously, if folks are interested in getting involved or, following Nani Talent, where could they do that? And if, obviously, again, if they're interested in getting actually involved with Nani, what should they do?
Yeah, so we have our social medias, the Twitter, which is Nani Talent, and the Instagram, which is Nani Talent GG. And if you can follow our social medias, that's really great of you. I'm the one behind the keyboard on all of those. So every time you press the like button, my little Grinch heart grows a bit. And like I said, we have the list on the Twitter, so you can follow all of our creators. And then on our website, nani.gg, is where we have our contact form if you have any questions or anything. Or you can DM me on any platforms, and I can help you out if there's any questions anyone has about us. And on our website, we have all of our roster and like info about them in a bio and all of their social medias, so you can follow them on everything and support them everywhere. So yeah, that is what you can do if you'd like to. And we're hoping to hopefully make it so that we are a resource and a supportive force, not just for our creators, but also for women-aligned people in the space generally. So
yeah, and I actually linked to the Twitter in the chat
Thank
right
you.
now. So if you're interested,
what would happen if people clicked that link and then hit the follow button? What would even happen?
I mean, I'm sure Harley would be very happy. So you should do it.
Whoa.
So to shift gears a little bit into Broadcast Her and, Broadcast Her Live while we're here, or why we're here, I should say. Why do you think programs like the Broadcast Her initiative are so important and beneficial for women and women-aligned broadcasters? I guess why did you get involved, or why do you think it's so important for it to be here right now in this space?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where there is, how do I explain this? It's such a, when it comes to things like this, where there's charities and there's grants for marginalized individuals, I feel like it's one of those things where there are special, how do I explain this properly? Like, there are special like problems that we'll have because we're women, or there's like special requirements that we'll have because we're women, and those aren't things that are necessarily immediately presented to us as options. Like, there are certain things we have to learn or discussions that have to be had that aren't being had in the public sphere. So I think it's good to have a charity and a community that lets those conversations take place and provides that support that is available, provides that support, and then can also help with monetary things and that sort of stuff, because like the grant that you'll do is amazing. And then you also have just resources on the website and the Broadcast Her podcast and stuff. And the reason why I like Broadcast Her as well is because not only are 1,000 Dreams Fund helping with women and women-aligned folks specifically, both financially and also educationally, is that with Broadcast Her, we get to, well, I'm hoping we will anyway, from what I saw of last year with Luxie, they did a lot of this, so I'm looking forward to more of it, with stuff that was accessible for like everybody and relevant to everybody. And then, yes, we would have focuses on women and women-aligned specific issues, but also things like DMCA or accessibility and that kind of thing, where it's like everybody, can learn from that. And it is stuff, I think, where there are conversations that aren't being had, or that I hear like whispers of them from other creators, but they're passed over really quickly, that I think I'm just really excited to like pin down and like look at and get into, and that kind of thing. And I do think that 1,000 Dreams Fund is a charity that does that and isn't afraid to do that, instead of just being very vague and glossy and being like, yeah, here's your grant and bye now. It's like, no, here's like extra resources for things that you might not have thought of or you're really curious about. So I do like how Broadcast Her does that, and I do think it's important to have more places that do that and more places that aren't afraid to uplift marginalized creators specifically and have catered resources for those marginalized groups specifically. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I hope it kind of sets a fire for other groups also to maybe come together as well. But it's something I've heard that yesterday, actually, I was talking with somebody else who's currently fundraising. I guess the transparency, or the way that things are kind of sort of a cycle. So, we have fundraisers who actually, obviously put their time and effort into helping us fund the Broadcaster grant, but also some of those fundraisers actually turn out to be recipients and vice versa. So it's a really great way to just kind of be part of a genuine community and know that you actually are paying it forward to
it felt very tangible when I was fundraising last year. It felt very tangible, because there is so much charity fundraising where you'll raise the money and it'll go off, and like, you're helping, of course, and it feels wonderful, but like, you don't get to see where it goes. And it is nice sometimes to see that, like, St. Jude will say $3 is like a mask and that helps a kid, or like this much is this much day of treatment. And then the 1,000 Dreams Fund also has a similar thing where it's like, yeah, it literally, you just raise $1,000. Yeah, that's a grant for somebody. That's like a dream funded. So I did like that. Yeah,
absolutely. It's super exciting to be part of. So
yeah.
So obviously we've talked about all of the ways that you have been, an avid supporter of 1DF and Broadcast Her. So why did you kind of take that next step to apply as a Broadcast Her live host? I think you kind of already talked about it a bit, obviously like the past topics we've covered, but anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's okay. I just love the sound of my own voice, and I just think that I'm great, and I'm just really excited because it's all episodes are about me, right? They're all about me. Yeah, great. I don't have an amazing co-host or anything like that. That would be wacky. I hope we don't. Oh goodness, I wonder if we'll meet them soon or anything. Ooh. Anyway, no, I want to become a host because I'm a good friend of Luxie Games's, and I watched her being the host last year. And I remember when that happened, I was looking at her and I was being like, I want to do that. Like, I want to do what she's doing. That's really cool. And hosting in general, I've always been really curious about whenever I've had friends that are hosts, like Meg Cayley or Nega Oryx. And I've just been always really curious about that. And then when the hosting opportunity came up for Broadcast Her, I was like, oh, because I love 1,000 Dreams Fund, as I've discussed, and I'm friends with tons of alumni of the grant, like Casey, and Madam Berry and Ashlina and stuff. And I was like, this is perfect. Like, I want to get into hosting, and I love this charity, so it's like this would be the perfect time to just like shoot my shot and go for it. Because last year I was watching Luxie do it and thinking that I should shoot my shot. So here we go. So that was why. And I wanted to be a part of, like I mentioned, platforming information in like an accessible way. And so, yeah, that's mainly why I went for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy it turned out for the best. So,
Me too.
so I actually think that's all the questions I have for you today. I know we're going to have plenty of time to get to know more about you throughout the year. So again, just want to thank you obviously for taking the time to speak with us. Do you have any final tips or, info you want to share with the audience or those interested in broadcaster or streaming?
Goodness, that's a lot. That's a big I would say I have a mildly hot take, I guess. If it's for people, if I can if I can impart knowledge or like advice to creators, I don't think that I'm that in the know, so I'm not super confident doing that kind of thing. But one thing that I do recommend, especially during quarantine, I think we're all slipping into it a little bit, is when it comes to social media and being a creator on social media or just being a person on social media, I find it very healthy to not be showing our belly too much, like our emotional underbelly too much, because I think that being vulnerable and being open with your community is very popular and people recommend it a lot, and it is good to be that sort of thing. But I do think it's important to keep some things to yourself, but not in the way of like keep it to yourself, but like keep things for yourself, and some things that you're going through or some things that are in your life for yourself, and keep them to yourself. Because I think with quarantine, we're all becoming dependent on screens and the quick validation that the online can give us. And I do worry whenever people are putting too much emotional weight on Twitter or Instagram and that kind of thing, because they're looking for that connection that we're all lacking due to quarantine. So I would say just like stepping up one's social media boundaries is really important.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and just a to the audience thing, when my co-host comes on, you should spam a bunch of hearts in the chat. That'd be really poggers if you did that. If you were a little, that'd be pretty neat, because she's pretty cool and I like her a lot.
She's awesome. And I totally agree. Boundaries and not looking for validation from social media, or sharing those experiences, looking for that validation, entirely. Yeah, totally. And I think I could take that advice to heart myself. So, okay. So
the first step is knowing you're good.
Yeah, exactly. So again, thank you for taking the time to talk with us. We can't wait for you to, rock hosting throughout 2021. And like you said, we're going to go ahead and shift over to Call Me Asia. Thank you again. We'll see you next month.
No worries.
Bye. Alrighty. Cool. We're going to go ahead and call Asia. I mean, Harley's awesome. Just to kind of, sort of recap. She's amazing. Huge supporter of 1DF. So I am personally excited to have her be part of BroadcastHER Live this year. So let me go ahead and get Asia called in. I see those hearts. They're listening. They're listening to Harley. Okay. Boop. Cool. I can't wait for the weekend. I hope you all are excited, because I am. Boom. Maybe. Hey, can you hear me okay?
Hi. Yeah.
Cool. We're gonna go ahead and switch over to the overlay so everyone can see you. There you are. You're looking awesome. I love the lights in the background.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
So obviously Harley kind of hyped you up, like how are you?
Yeah, I know.
How are you feeling about that? Like,
Harley, are you trying to be best friends? I just need to know. I don't understand.
I think you are at this point.
So also, I know that like you said you turned yourself up, but I feel like Harley was louder than you, and I know that I'm gonna be louder than you. I don't know if you need to turn yourself up.
Yeah.
So a little bit more.
Yeah, I went ahead and adjusted the volume a little bit. So you're looking green and I'm looking green, so I think we're good. But in chat,
okay.
Let me know if like I'm not good. I can easily fix it. You know,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
nervous today, right? We're like on the front
Yeah.
page, and
Oh, yeah.
I usually don't stream, so but it's going
Mm-hmm.
good. It's going
I
good.
actually forgot that we were on the front page until you
Oh,
mentioned that.
oh, we're not.
um.
It's just you and me. We're just hanging out, So it's fine.
Okay. Well. Oh.
Well, let's
Super.
to break the ice, to hopefully help you feel a little bit more comfortable. Let us know a little bit about you and what you're currently doing in streaming and gaming. I know, but I know they want to know. So let us know.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So I'm a photographer and videographer and a little baby graphic designer. I say that like little baby because I have a beginner's design eye, but I might not know like all the principles and things, but I can put some stuff together. And I definitely became self-employed right before we knew that we were going to be in the middle of a panoramic. And so I was like, I'm just at home a lot. Maybe I'll play games. And it turned out to be like something that was really fulfilling for me because some of my online friends were really kind and they had known all of my pre-self-employment struggles with working for a job that made me super miserable. Like I would come home crying and I would just be like, calling my mother and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fight these people. And she's like, don't do that. And I'm like, but why not? But why not? And it was just a really cathartic experience, I think, playing with them because they were constantly being really supportive and they were also like really sarcastic and like one of them is very cynical, but in a very hilarious to me way. And so gaming was kind of like a really fun like outlet before and during the pandemic, even though like it's always been a part of my life because it was how my father and I bonded. And starting out from all the way back, to like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, all of those things, and like being at my babysitter's house and she would like play this game and not let us play it because she was like, you're gonna break it. And I'm like, I've never broken anything in my life. I'm a good child. And like earning all of this like tech savviness to be able to like be worthy to play games, kind of like put it on a pedestal in my mind. And so now streaming wise, I would say our community is for misfits and weirdos, and that's kind of like how we divulge during streams because we like to have fun and be weird. And I think that is the epitome of my personality, and that is what a lot of people who come to the community enjoy. And so we play a lot of games, variety streamer for sure. But right now we're playing a lot of Apex and a lot of Overcooked, and I really enjoy just hanging out with people that I consider my friends. So yeah.
Absolutely, and it's always a good time. I know we've been in the chat a couple times hanging out with you. I know we may have done a little surprise earlier this year for you.
Yeah, you did.
And you were playing Overcooked. That game,
Yes.
love it and hate it. I can rage at it pretty quickly. But I have a big question. I know this isn't on, what we planned on asking, but who's your main in Apex? I gotta know.
Oh yeah, I'm a Loba main. I'm a Loba main because she's thicker than a Snicker. Okay, thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Okay, she said, "I never settle. I wasn't born that way." Yes, Lobo. Let them know.
And you were in chat during Matthew's stream, right? When I
was
so we're I think that automatically makes us best friends at this point. So
no, truly, I saw you were like, I'm gonna be low. I said, oh snap, Kayla finna be low. I love that for us. Like I truly.
And I had like the highest damage on the team, like the whole time. It's fine. It's totally fine. We're just
carry what?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. But then what do we do when we get on the same team? We gotta take turns, We gotta like
so I have been trying to play other characters because, I don't wanna be a one-woman show. However, it's a work in progress,
Yeah, that's fine.
Rome wasn't built in a day. So
Exactly.
we'll work on that.
I play a lot of Bloodhound and Lifeline as well, so I'll trade off here and there for you. As long as we have one logo, we're gonna be fine. So
see, exactly.
That sort of leads me into the next question. I know you talked about how you were able to kind of de-stress after work, or kind of take up quarantine by being able to play multiple games.
Yeah.
What do you think is your favorite game and why? Big
Ooh.
question.
Such a big question. I would say like Overcooked right now is my most favorite game. And I think it's because it's so simple, right? Like it's such a simple concept, but it embodies the spirit of like playing with friends or playing with randoms in a really wholesome way. Now, do I rage quit and sometimes report? I mean, like, yes, but like, is it still wholesome? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's different, playing with people that you care about and doing this something like so simple and chaotic in such a short time frame. Like you kind of get sucked into it, and that to me is really important. And I've also streamed the game for Team 17. They make the game, and like it's been a really fun experience with them because like there's such a like small niche huge community of people who really love this game, and the fact that all you can eat is cross-platform and so I can play with other people is like it's everything to me. And I'm like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. This is the moment.
I didn't know that. It's cross-platform
yes
now. Oh,
yes. Okay. All you can eat is cross-platform. Yes. So whether you're on the Switch, the PC, the Xbox, the PS, you can do whatever. Like you can play with whoever you want. I love that for us.
So basically 1DF community night, maybe?
Exactly. 100%. They need to get it down. It is $40.
But with Team 17,
do with that what you will.
Team 17 does change their prices up. They do go on sale often. So
Exactly.
We'll just have to keep a close
There's hope.
eye. And
there's hope.
I already have it, so technically I'm fine. But it's I do love the game. Like you said, totally wholesome. It's a nice way to sort of... There are moments where you do rage, but it's like when you finally hit that goal that you're trying to get, it's so rewarding, even if you have to play like 5 times to get that goal.
Yes, 100%. And when you find like a really good team, you're like really appreciative. It's like very wholesome. And I've met some really great people just playing online by myself, like queuing up solo. And I think that's really cool. Like that's the beauty of the simplicity of it. Like we're just hanging out playing this game.
Yeah, absolutely. My sister and I actually played it through quarantine. She lives like 2 hours away, so it's a great way to kind of hang out when you're not actually together. Sweet. So yeah,
so sweet.
So I'm gonna shift gears. This is kind of a heavier question. I know we were kind of keeping it lighthearted there, but do you think you faced any challenges as a woman on Twitch? Is there a time that you specifically have faced a challenge because you're a woman of color as well? And do you think there's things that we could be doing to prevent this that we're not doing right now?
So I agree a lot with what Harley said in terms of like a lot of the crappy behavior is normalized, and so it's not just Twitch specific. It's not something that we only experience on the internet. It's something that we got used to pre-pandemic in real life, and for the most part are still used to because it still happens in real life. And I don't think the challenges I've faced have been out of the ordinary in general, but I think they've been out of the ordinary for me because I am newer to the Twitch space. And with tomorrow being like my whole like first year of streaming on Twitch, like I had so much that I learned even in like from like last month to 3 months to 6 months ago. There's literally so many different things, and it's been interesting seeing how many people like support you, but then on the other hand, how many other people I think are not as supportive and maybe not even like intentionally, and how like Twitch etiquette isn't really something that people kind of live with or abide in or or want to make normal, right? And we still have all of these hurdles with Twitch itself to kind of be like, okay, we're banning words like virgin and simp, but like, where are we at on any of these other hate speech words? Why aren't they gone, you know? And I don't think that's specific to me. I think that's specific to like women and people who are women aligned. So like it's very I think the challenges are very broad. I don't think any of them are specific to me that stand out, I guess, when I think about that.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that almost every single person you come across has faced some sort of harassment or situation like that.
For sure.
No matter
Yeah.
who they are, even
Yeah.
non-women. So, yeah, it's a huge platform-wide thing, or I guess gaming-wide thing, I should say.
Yeah.
And I think everybody understands how that feels. And it's ironic that it continues because, that person who may be taking part in that harassment has probably dealt with it themselves. So it's a cycle that we definitely need to break, but it's a big one that it's probably going to take some time. So yeah,
definitely
I agree with both you and Harley. So to sort of go into BroadcastHER Grant, why do you think programs like the BroadcastHER Initiative are so important and beneficial for women and women-aligned broadcasters right now? I guess when you first heard about the BroadcastHER Initiative, what were your thoughts? Were you like, yes, this is awesome, we need this? Or yeah, do you have anything specific you want to share?
Yeah, so I definitely think these programs give hope, and that is really important for me because I was definitely going to quit streaming in December, and I was really overwhelmed with my perfectionist spirit, and I was like, nothing is right. And so I hate it all. Even though realistically, that was not a thing. It was perfectly fine for where I was and where I was on my way to and all these other things. However, I applied thinking, like, I don't know if this is for me, but like maybe if it is, then it is. And so when I like watched the live broadcast, I was like, okay, it's fine, and I didn't think anything of it really, but like December just really like hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was like, I'm doing something wrong, right? Like I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it has to be something because I don't think I'm where I should be. And imposter syndrome was really real for me, and that was just like really preposterous because I didn't have anybody to compare it to. Like I had only been streaming at that point, like seriously, for about 6 months. So there, like really, it was a mindset that I needed to shift. And when the surprise came, obviously you saw the video, and I was like crying and stuff, and so I was like, this is really sweet, right? And like but also like people like believe in me, right? And somebody decided that I was capable, and somebody decided that I had potential, and that person wasn't me, and I really needed that actually. And I think sometimes we all need a little encouragement to be like, hey, like we see the work you're doing and we see what you're doing, and you deserve to work towards that. You deserve resources and help and assistance and support in like on the most basic of levels, right, which is financially. And that was just like really important for me. And so I don't think that is something to be taken lightly for how other people feel when they receive the grant. And from all of the surprise recipients, if you haven't seen it, for anyone in chat, you haven't seen the surprise recipients, like there's a thread of all of the clips and stuff. A lot of people are really emotional about it because like streaming is really hard and like it's like streaming in general it can be exhausting, and feeling like you're doing something for little to no reward or for little to no reason or for like so much so much, like giving so much of yourself to like receive not as much in return, that is like it's a huge gesture from some like people that you don't know to be like, I really like, I believe in you. So I think programs like this exist to give us lots of hope.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually going to link that blog post in the chat right now. So if you do want to go check out
Yeah.
those surprise recipients, they're all right there. But like you said, it can be very validating to be chosen for the broadcaster grant, which is like everything we could dream it to be. But
Yeah.
also at the same time, there are, those folks who aren't chosen the first time around. It can be, the opposite. It can be invalidating. So, for those who have applied, if you are watching this, keep applying. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. And, like Asia, she was actually chosen as a surprise recipient. So,
Right.
it's just, you gotta keep going, and you can't give up. And I know we hear a lot of stories about people who have blown up in 6 months or less, and when it doesn't happen to you, it can be discouraging.
Hmm.
But there's no A-B path that you have to take to be a streamer. Everybody's path
Right.
is different, and what matters is if you're able to find opportunities like this, definitely keep trying and keep going for it. So um, and Asia, I was there in chat when we surprised you, and let me tell you,
I know.
it was so fun. It was so nice.
Uh,
I remember I like my screen refreshed as I went to go clip it, and it was like, nope, can't clip it. And then you sent me the YouTube video. Oh, it was so nice to watch. So
no, but cry about it later. It's fine. It's fine.
and to have not just us showing up necessarily, like having the community also be there, like our moderators, people
Yeah.
from who have been past recipients being in chat and saying, congrats, and sort of like welcoming you with warm arms is also validating in itself. So, yeah, it was nice to be a part of. So, um, that kind of leads me into, the next question. So, you told us how you felt when you found out you were a recipient. You
Yeah.
gave some insight as to why folks should apply. But what did you specifically use your funds for from the broadcaster grant this past fall?
Yeah, so I specifically upgraded my RAM because I actually stream from a Mac, and where there's a very small community of us streaming from Macs. Okay, we are small but mighty, and we refuse to switch over. So you know, um, are we stubborn? Sure. However, if I would have started streaming sooner or later or something like that, I probably would have got I might have gotten a PC, but like I use it for my business as well. So I needed more RAM for all of the programs because programs like OBS and Slabs, they still have a little ways to go for Mac, and RAM was like my top priority. I got a specific stream microphone because I was using my videography microphone, and so like it was really like anytime I had like so when I have a wedding or anything like that, I had to like take all of this stuff and like
Oh,
disassemble it
yeah.
and then like haul it off and then come back and then be like, okay, I'm gonna stream tomorrow. So then I gotta like set it all back up and then be like, okay, is this right? No, it's not. Okay, is this connected right? Huh? Okay, it's not. So then so just like the general things that give me stress. And so I was able to get like another tripod for my camera, this microphone, a mixer, a
Mm-hmm.
stream deck, and an actual stream deck because I was using my iPad and that was like a jigger rig, and I was not pleased with that. That app is so glitchy, and I was like, this is fine. It's fine. And the little dog with the burning flames, that's what I was doing every time I would
Yep.
stream. And then I got a like PC keyboard
Oh,
and
nice.
like in a mouse so I can try to play like PC games because I do have a virtual machine on my Mac so I can play PC games and stuff. But learning mouse and keyboard is
It's
that's
hard.
an interesting journey.
Yeah.
That's That's interesting. Yeah, for sure. So I actually use it for quite a few things because one of my friends was actually upgrading a lot of their stuff, and a lot of the things that I needed at the time that I applied, they were able to gift to me. So I was able to put it towards like more things for the stream, and that's been like really cool. And then obviously like these little lights back here, they're not super expensive or anything, but they're just like Philips. One is a Philips Hue light and then one is a video light, and they both like pulse at different times, so I was able to do stuff like that and then just have like my own little stream room.
I will say that your visuals and your audio, crispy.
Oh,
So,
yes.
so and it probably comes through your background as a videographer as well. So my partner is actually, he does film photography, so I have a
Yes.
special place in my heart, and I totally understand that struggle of like all the equipment you gotta lug around. People don't realize how much
Yes.
goes into it. So there's a reason you look crispy. So
Period. There's a reason I look. That's my motto. All of 2021. There's a reason I look crispy.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
that's the tweet.
Every
I love that for us.
every show, every
Yes.
month, you got to quote it, you know? So some people might not know this, but obviously we are all about paying it forward. We talked about with Harley how fundraisers actually become grant recipients and vice versa. So
Yeah.
some folks might not know, but you actually hosted your very first ever fundraiser earlier this year, and it's a huge
Yeah.
success. So can you tell us why you fundraised, and how it kind of felt being in the position to be able to kind of pay it forward at that point?
Yeah. So before I was like a recipient of the grant, I had a goal for this chair that you see behind me.
Nice.
And I needed a chair because my back hurt all the time. And I was like, well, I don't know if we'll ever like reach this goal because like people like don't um really care that my back hurts as long as I'm sitting here, I guess. And I was like, that's fine. I'll just rot. And so I was really like concerned that maybe like I like that was part of the reason I was gonna stop streaming because I was like maybe people just like don't like just show up because like I'm nice and like we could just like hang out in Discord instead. And when we reached our fundraising goal for that in December, along with the like being a grant recipient, I was like, wow, like that was like really all I needed. Like I was literally like so close to having everything I needed and I was gonna give up. And then like in January ish, I was like, wow, like I really don't need anything. And so I was able to like give back to the community and we had giveaways and all those things. And we were like, well, what should be our goal? And I was like, well, I don't need anything. And I was talking to my friends and I was like, well, do you need anything? And they were like, we don't need anything. And I was like, okay, so then like we could do like a charity. And or I didn't think of that. Slay thought of that. She said, what about a charity? And I was like, what about 1000 Dreams Fund? Because the only charity I know, like in this space. And she was like, that's such a great idea. And I was like, yes, it is such a great idea. Thank you. And that's like we're really like big fans of themes and stuff, and especially with it being Chinese New Year, and there's so much going on right now with like Stop Asian Hate, because like Chinese culture is really important to me as someone who speaks the language and reads the language and writes the language. Like it's very important to me, and a part of like who I am in terms of like Asian culture. And so I was like, this is like such a cool thing to like educate the community about, because we do a Chinese word of the day every stream, and have like not lessons, but we are thinking about having lessons like for people in the Discord and stuff. And so it was really cool to be able to like have this giant experience like with something that's like literally so near and dear to my heart with people who are genuinely interested. And also shout out to like Sir Caitlin, because her community came through and showed out. But also like I just didn't think I was like there's so much about myself that I didn't think I was capable of. And the fact that people like rallied beside me to be like, yeah, this is a fun, like, this is something worth fundraising for. That was like a huge thing to me. And one of the contributors had messaged me later and said, I was there when you received the grant, and I know how much it means to you. So I wanted to make sure that I contributed because I know how much it means to you. And that was like really powerful to me. And I was like really emotional. I was like, oh my God, I'm crying about it later. Like, fine, I gotta go. Like, don't talk to me anymore. But like, that's like literally just like so amazing to me that like charity and hope and believing in people can foster this sense of community among strangers. And like, I obviously, like, I wouldn't have met you or met like other people or like met half the people that I feel like if I were, you know, if we weren't in the middle of a panini, that I would like go visit and genuinely hang out like in real life. I think that's huge. And so like whenever I applied to be a host, I was like, this is a thing that I can do because like I want people to be inspired and I want them to have faith and believe in themselves, because I don't want anyone to ever feel like I did when it comes to like not believing that you're enough or that you're capable, because you are and people are. And just because we don't have the resources or the bandwidth at the time to do something doesn't mean that we deserve it any less. And like most of the time, like my games and streams are like feel good streams, right? Like I'm a very feel good gamer because I can't take games seriously unless it's like very competitive. And so like like that's the only way I can do that. And I refuse to play like horror games because I have the hearts of a docile squirrel. So there's no way that I can play games like that. But like as a host, like that's where I feel like my personality comes out a whole lot, because like I'm literally just talking to people and doing something that means a lot to me.
Absolutely. And
so
I think what Harley said earlier also really coincides with what you just said. You know, you owe your past self this, if that makes sense. You know, when you are in those moments where you're like, well, maybe I'm not a good fit, or you know, maybe I'm not where I want to be, or you know, like I wish I could do that, you know. I think that is, it's just so it drives your power to want to, you know, apply, and then your passion as well. And obviously there's a reason you were chosen, so hey, it worked out. So I will say, you know, obviously we were in chat during that entire fundraiser and you kicked its butt. You did awesome. You reached your goal. And so you should be proud, first off. But second off, I don't think we've officially told you this yet, but your amount was actually donated and matched by somebody on our board of directors as well. So not only, yes. So not only did you reach your goal, but somebody also matched that entire amount you raised on our board of directors. So
Kayla, you trying to make me cry? Why are you trying to make me cry? Hold on.
I know, I was like, maybe I shouldn't tell her. So technically you have funded, you know, you've had a part in funding 2 full dreams. So
okay, please.
Awesome.
Okay, please. Okay, please.
I won't go into further detail. I'll send you more about that. But yeah, we were doing a matching during Chinese New Year, if you remember. We were matching donations to someone on our board of directors, and so they matched your entire amount. Very awesome. You should be proud.
So sweet.
Yes, absolutely. So I'll move forward so that way we don't choke up, because I'll start crying. It'll be a mess. What do you think you are most excited for this year as a host of BroadcastHER Live?
Most excited for? Wow. I think I'm most excited, honestly, to just like bring people on that like people don't know about, like hidden gems. Like I'm very much so that person who likes to like listen to music and be like, have you heard this person yet? And people are like, no. And I'm like, listen to it. And they're like, I love this. Yes, I know. Like that's like, that brings me so much joy. But also just being able to be like a resource for people and having more options to directly impact people not only in the community but people who may be just joining or are around or maybe have like heard of it. Like I want them to be inspired to be like, I should get involved with this. Yes, you should apply. Yeah, and like, yes, why not? And so I think that's what I'm really excited about, because obviously like I know like what we have like in the works and stuff, and outside of even just like a business setting, like I want people to feel connected, and I'm excited for us to have like more things that make us feel connected through like the through not just the hosting but through like the community and through other channels. I want to like be there to be like, hey, guess what? You got a grant. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you did. Like that's just like what I'm really excited about, because I think it makes a huge difference when people support you from within too. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so nice to have people who are willing to be like ambassadors for 1DF, you know, and really talk about their experiences. Because we funded over 200 women now, just through BroadcastHER alone, which like that's a crazy amount, and it's like if you put all of us into one space, we destroy the world. Like we take it down.
Like, period.
So I can't wait for the next like TwitchCon. Think about it.
Stop. The next TwitchCon, I'm not gonna know how to act. Please. We're
gonna all just have to have like a huge group, you know, get together.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
yes.
So I think that is all I have for you. However, do you have anything else that you want to add? Any final tips? Any final info about anything really? You know, for the next year or BroadcastHER, whatever it may be.
Yeah. My only thing is like anyone who's like watching or sees this is that if there is something that you need help with or you need assistance with, please join the community and ask. Because you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, and you know, a closed mouth doesn't get fed, and that's like the least that you can do. And don't feel like you are alone, and don't feel like you don't have resources or help out there, because you do. And there are so many people in this community that are literally there to just assist you and support you. And I think that going forward, if you feel like you can find community within 1DF, I think you will be just like so much better for it. Because I just feel like we all need encouragement, and we probably needed it a lot more this last year than we probably have in years before. And like, this is the perfect community to do that, because that's literally all we do. And so I would just encourage y'all to be part of it. If you have even a modicum of loneliness or self-doubt or anything like that, because it's truly, I think, a place where I find comfort, and I want that for everybody.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I think, you know, we have funding. Yes, we have other opportunities for you to grow or get resources that you do need. But there are so many free ongoing resources in the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
We have job opportunities that we post. We post, you know, about upcoming panels, educational stuff. If you're fundraising and you have a question, we have a whole channel dedicated to that. Thanks to 9.5. That was her idea. Like, if you have an idea or you're interested in getting involved, all you got to do is just DM me and literally we'll make it happen. We have community nights. We have a dream team, a stream team. Basically, if you can think of it, we have it, and it's ongoing. So we're not going anywhere anytime soon. We have awesome people like Asia, a part of the community. So yeah, what she said, do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it. I don't want to keep you too long. I know we've already went over our time technically. So thank you. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for talking a little bit more about, you know, BroadcastHER Live. We're super excited. We can't wait for you to rock it this year. So I'll let you
excited.
I'll let you go.
Okay.
And you did awesome. So woo!
Thank you.
We'll see you next month.
See you. Bye.
Alrighty. So awesome. I'm so excited because, we have two super passionate hosts this year, who have, supported us from fundraising. They've been recipients. They really are literally on the ground running, in all things Broadcast Her. So, that's all I have for you today. We hope you enjoyed getting to know both of them. And thank you again to Harley and Asia for joining us today to talk, all things Broadcast Her. I want to remind you to drop them a follow, which 9.5 or Awesome Moderator has it in the chat. And thank you to the other moderators as well who hopped on here last second to help me out. I'd also like to remind you, obviously, that our BroadcastHER grant is open right now for the spring. Let me get the link for you really fast in case you're interested. It is open until June 19th, and this is your chance to get, up to $1,500 for your dream in broadcasting, whatever that may be. So, and lastly, our Streams for Dreams fundraiser is ending today, and we are just under $40,000. Thanks to people like you, for donating and fundraising. So we're super close to that $50,000 mark that we're shooting for, and I know we're going to get super, super close today. So please be sure to tune in to the next fundraiser at 1 p.m. PST, who is up next after us. So otherwise, that's all I have for you. And thank you again for a wonderful show, and thank you for showing up. We'll see you next month. Bye!